morning and welcome to Seattle Unity. Hello. Hello, everyone in the room. Hello, everyone at home. If you're in the room, I'm going to invite you to stand as you are able. If you can snap, go ahead and snap. This is a song we used to do a whole lot. It's a Karen Drucker song called I Give Myself Permission. And you may notice I haven't programmed it at all during COVID because I was afraid that people would be like, I'm giving myself permission to walk around unvaccinated and maskless and what? And I don't, so, because the song is, I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. And so originally I just thought, I'll do this when COVID is done. And then I realized, oh, COVID's not going to be done. So that's a great idea. How do we tweak these things so we can still live passionately and freely but safely? So we'll be doing that during this song. But the first thing is to imagine that you're giving your spine permission. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. All right, so we're going to put this in motion, and I'm going to ask you to feel okay about moving out from your chairs. This room is much bigger than we think it is. So for the purposes of this song, feel free to sort of walk around. Phil, who is our audio and visual guy, he'll ask you to move if you are literally in front of a camera, but you actually might be more interesting than what's up here. So if you're really good and you're in front of the camera, he's not going to ask you to move. But moving your arms up in the air is a good way to change your feeling of freedom without endangering your neighbor. Right? So let's try that. I give myself permission, to be all I can be. I give myself permission, arms up here, to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission, arms up, to live passionate and free. All right. Hey, Carolyn.
Yes?
So, Carolyn, I don't know if many of you know this, but she lives in a really great building.
Retirement community.
It's a retirement center, but it's super swanky, and they were very, very careful. And she had the experience of not feeling free for a very long time. You were not allowed out of your apartment, is that correct?
For 3 months.
For 3 months, she could not leave her apartment. So, Carolyn, how did you express a feeling of passionate and free and being all you could be, even inside this space?
Well, I think Zoom was what really helped me because I could connect with my family in England and all over the world, actually. I have a brother in Spain. We all got together. We all saw each other fairly frequently, and just to be able to express myself and tell them how much I love them and to receive all that love, that was wonderful for me.
So the expression of it was, how did you express when you're doing it? What felt like an expression?
I just said, I love you all so much.
So that was the thing. We were talking about this morning, and that was the piece of the story that I really loved, was the feeling of freedom is sometimes about just expressing your actual emotion. And so we're going to sing it again, and this time imagine yourself expressing your actual emotion, especially the love that you feel for the people around you. I give myself, permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate right, so you were talking about your experiences during COVID. Did you have an experience of feeling passionate and free, even inside that COVID experience?
Wednesday night, Zoom trivia.
Ooh!
Yeah. So
All right. And
my eldest son and his girlfriend started Zoom trivia. Three of my kids join every Wednesday. We have a friend in Moldova. 5 a.m. the next day, he's playing trivia with us. So
nice.
So yeah.
And so, at what point during trivia do you? In my mind, I'm imagining it's when somebody gets something right.
That's one of them. Yeah.
Yes.
To share and winning, of course, but especially with a question like, "Who was the other guy in Wham?" Anybody know? Andrew Ridgeley.
Nice. All right, so
Not
that
many people know
moment
that.
of passionate, you've just got something right in trivia, right? That moment of passionate expression, or if somebody else has got something right and you didn't want them to, of like, "Ugh," right? So that's the one I wanna dip into for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself, here it comes, you're gonna get it right. Permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. All right, let's pray.
And so we take a moment to turn our attention within as we know the truth of our opening statement. There is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
And from this quieter place, I want to ask Olivia to tell me about her experience during COVID of feeling passionate and free as an introvert.
So I live, hi fellow introverts. I live in a house with 3 other adults. So there's 4 of us in the house and 2 very loving cats from this wonderful poly queer house, and it's great, but 4 adults is a lot, especially when you need time for yourself. And so I gave myself permission to change my sleep schedule. I ended up getting up a couple hours earlier than I ever did when I was actively gigging. And just gave myself time to do nothing. I gave myself permission to be unproductive, which if you're an artist, oh my gosh, that's radical. And I just sat and listened to birds, or every once in a while I just like would doodle or stare into space, and it was absolutely a gift.
So that's a spiritual freedom, and it's a different way of manifesting passionate and free that is not necessarily loud or wacky, but it's still passionate and free. Let's sing it from that place. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. All right, we're just going to do one more. And this one is, I give myself permission. I give my voice permission, because each of the people up here today, Kiki Delore Helland, by the way, she's a return guest. Yay! And Carolyn and Tim and me, we are all people with big, loud voices who are often told to be a little quieter so we can blend in, which we do because we love other people, right? We adjust ourselves so we can be good for society, but on just this one round, I'm going to let them loose. And I want you to jump in too, because they're all going to be louder than you normally hear them and crazier than they normally are. And if you've ever wanted to express your full level of vocal crazy, now's the moment. Here we go. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself, go Carolyn, permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission 3 times to live passionate live passionate and free, to live passionate and free. Well done.
Good morning, and welcome to Seattle Unity, both in-house and online. Thank you for being here today. So let's join together as we share our mission statement, which is, we are a welcoming spiritual community, thriving in the heart of Seattle, celebrating, inspiring, and deepening our individual and collective spiritual journeys. Thank you. So today's a special day. We're having a picnic following the service at Jefferson Park, so please come. Bring your own chair and bring something to eat. And if you need directions, you can go see Diane, and she'll help direct you to where you need to go. So we're going to all head over there after the service. Also, if you would like prayers, then I invite you, if you're home, to type those into the chat box. And if you're here, write them on a piece of paper, get them to Diane, and then we'll take a moment following the service so that we can bless everyone. All right, so that said, I invite you to stand and greet one another at a safe and respectable distance, whatever works for you right now, as we also see our announcements.
When you're ready to return to your seats. I'll pass it off to Dahlia.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Dahlia Cohen, and I am currently serving as your board chair. And this is a reading from the Daily Word, 1998. God has blessed me with a sense of humor as a way of expressing joy. Laughter is a form of healing therapy. A hearty laugh helps to stimulate the release of endorphins, a natural substance within my body that eases physical pain. When I laugh, my attention is shifted off health challenges and onto positive, lighthearted thoughts that promote healing. Just thinking about a humorous event can invigorate me physically. As I laugh, I take in air and fill my lungs with oxygen, which in turn rejuvenates the lifeblood of my body.
I feel so good when I laugh, and I share this invigorating experience with others by telling a humorous story. Laughter is even more enjoyable when it is shared with others. God has blessed me with joy and a sense of humor as one way of expressing my joy. I am enriched by the benefits of laughter. A glad heart makes a cheerful countenance. Proverbs 15:13. Thank you.
We're coming to a more contemplative part of the service, and it will include a 3-minute silent meditation. So I encourage you to become comfortable in your chair and set aside any distractions. Before we get there, we'll sing a song together, and this is an old one called Sanctuary. And this song reminds me always of a staffer who has passed, but I will never forget her because I loved her very much, Gail Winsauer, if you remember Gail. This was her favorite song. Tim Clements Levin will sing it first, and then we'll join in.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Please join me. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Once more, quietly. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with
someone to sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive, being alive. Someone to crowd you with love, someone to force you to care, someone who'll make you come through, who'll always be there, as frightened as you, of being alive, being alive, being alive, being alive. Somebody need me too much, somebody know me too well, somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive, make me alive, make me confused, mock me with praise, let me be used, vary my days, but alone is alone, not alive. Somebody crowd me with love, somebody force me to care, somebody let me come through, I'll always be there, as frightened as you, of being alive, being alive, being alive, being
Let's give Kiki another round of applause. So today is August 1st, and what I want to remind you is that it's summer. And especially being in Seattle, it's really important that we take advantage of summer, right? Because once the fall equinox hits, what happens? The days get shorter, it gets darker, the rains return, and you are stuck in the house unless you have some really good rain gear, which, you know, we all have living here. But, you know, this is the not quite the middle of summer, but sort of the middle of summer. We have another 6 weeks, 2 months of it left. And I just want to remind you to get out and enjoy it. Don't let it go to waste. I remember when I was a kid and June, you know, the last day of school in June would hit, and it was like I would run home from school because I was so happy that I was off for the next 2 or 3 months and I could play, and it was like summer just sort of just poured out in front of me. and just playing and staying outside till the street lights came on. And I know it was a more innocent time. And when I was a kid, I remember the song by Nat King Cole, which was roll out those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer, those days of soda and pretzels and beer. I used to love that song. That was like summer for me when I'd hear that. So hopefully when you were a kid, you had plenty of time for fun and leisure, because the truth is, once we grow up and then we get a job, life becomes pretty responsible, and it's like, it's very rare that you still get an entire summer off to go and play, right? I mean, most Americans get 2 weeks off vacation, which sounds crazy, because when you look at the EU, they get a month minimum plus holidays. But we're those hard workers. When I was in Denmark a few years ago, I noticed that, I noticed that everybody was commuting with their bikes. Granted, it was summer, but every morning, everybody would hop on their bikes and go off to work. So it was almost like they were playing as part of their day, right? They already had put the bikes in. And I was talking to a couple people that lived there, and they said, we go home at 5 o'clock. We don't put in overtime if we don't have to. We don't work late. We don't value that. We value time, being together, socializing, hanging out, being out in nature. And it was just nice to see a different way of being. So I want to speak today to the importance of taking space, of laughing, of having fun, of being creative, and experiencing and relaxing into leisure. So the Oxford Dictionary defines leisure as time when one is not working or occupied, free time and use of free time for enjoyment. Leona Britt said that leisure purpose is to be an escape from work and personal worries. It is a time you take for yourself to disconnect. It's a shot of positivity to take your mind away from your problems. So whether you're working outside of home or taking care of elderly parents or children, stepping away can give you a mental break regardless of what your situation is in life. It's so important to step away, even if you're retired. So even Jesus frequently stepped away from his ministry. And we can see this like in the book of Mark and the book of Luke. And I want to share with you part of this passage. Very early in the morning when it was dark, he got up, went out, and made his way to a deserted place. And there he was praying. Simon and his companions searched for him. And when they found him, they said, "Hey, everyone's looking for you." Ever felt that? Ever felt that, hey, everyone's looking for you. Where are you? The kids are calling you. You haven't answered that email. You didn't return that call yet. And your to-do list is getting longer and longer. People are looking for you. And yet, he found time to step away. Also in Scripture, but the news about him spread even more, and large crowds would come together to hear him and to be healed of their sicknesses. That's a pretty big task that he has. Yet he often withdrew to deserted places and prayer. Now he could have said, boy, I have all these people that I have to take care of. I have all these people that I have to heal, that I have to help. They need me, and I can't let them down. I have to be there. Have you ever said that? The world's going to fall apart if you're not there, right? If you're not showing up to do what it is you're supposed to do. And yet, he stepped away, even though he's popular and the crowds are looking for them and needed him. And so, our hearts need to be in whatever it is we're doing. So this month, we're looking at the Alchemy of Courage, and you may be thinking, what in the world does the Alchemy of Courage have to do with leisure and taking time away? Well, if you, again, look at the word courage, it comes from C-O-U-E-R, cour, which is heart, right? And if we don't have heart, we can't fully show up, right? So taking time away replenishes the heart. It gives us space so that we can come back and fully put our hearts into something. And I think that this idea is particularly important right now, especially coming off a year of COVID, when many of us have been confined, that those who are working from home, and there's no boundaries for some. It's like which is work and which isn't. Or if you're a caretaker and you're taking care of somebody. So for many this past year especially, it might have been harder to step away. So a question I have is, what replenishes your heart? And I know we all know it, Jan Sales, Scott, I love your Facebook when you're out hiking and traveling, and Casey with his walks every day that he posts. So it's a one way to keep in touch and to see how each one of us replenishes. So we know that we're living in precarious times. We know that we're living in serious times, and yet it's still important. In fact, it's more important that we lighten up, right? It's time to play. It's August. It's time to play. It's time to have fun. You going to the picnic today? Yes. See? So go ride a bike, take a hike, go for a swim, play with your dog or your cat, babysit, play with a child. Remember again, Jesus said, in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, which is the expansion of consciousness, you must become as a little child. You must be willing to play. You must have beginner's mind, because it also then feeds our creativity. Brene Brown said that laughter, song, and dance create emotional and spiritual connection. They remind us of the one thing that truly matters when we are searching for comfort, celebration, inspiration, or healing, and that is we're not alone. So when we're dancing together, when we're laughing together, when we're worshiping together, we are connected. And laughter is healing, and a sense of humor can carry you through many difficult situations. Anybody? Yes. And sometimes humor can pop into your dreams. My dog is very happy. She's one of the happiest dogs I ever met. And she wags her tail in her sleep. And it's like, what are you doing? And I have to tell you, humor sort of popped into my dream the other night, because I dreamed that I was playing with my phone and I accidentally hit the 911 call that's on there. There's that emergency beacon that goes wah, wah, wah. So I'm playing with my phone and the emergency goes off, and I hear the 911 operator saying, "Can I help you?" And I said, No, it's a mistake, stop. And she couldn't hear me. And the next thing I know, two black SUVs with the FBI come pulling up to my house, and there's a helicopter over my head, and the FBI comes into my house, and they go, "We got your call." And I said, "I'm sorry, it's my phone. It doesn't work. And I was trying to tell you." And so they're looking around, they go, "You sure you're okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they went, "Oh." They said, "We don't have anything to do." And they were bored, and they were hoping for something. So in my dream. Yes, in my dream. When I started ministerial school, I was actually really nervous, because I thought, oh boy, I'm going to be surrounded by a bunch of people who are holy and serious. And it turned out to be the exact opposite. Many of them were very funny, and I think I laughed more in those 2 years than I had in quite a while. And again, it was that Terre de Chardin said that joy or laughter is and joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God, right? So what is it that feeds your joy? What is it that feeds your laughter? So I did hear a story this week about a traveler who was visiting the Himalayas, and he was having dinner with the monks, and then one of the monks stood up and said, 24. And all the other monks, they started to laugh, and they nodded their heads. And then another monk stood up and said, 37, and they laughed again. And then the abbot said to the traveler, "Well, we've told the same joke so often that we've numbered them." So it's easier just to say the number than to repeat the joke. So after a while, the traveler stood up and he said, 112. And he said there was a moment of shocked silence. And then a deafening roar of laughter as they all were on the floor laughing. The abbot said, "That's a good one. We haven't heard that one in a long time." So leisure, laughter, and time away reduces stress. Because if you don't take time for yourself, stress and anxiety is going to kick in sooner or later. And perhaps you wonder, if you step away, well, I'll lose my momentum. And the opposite is true. Stepping away allows us to see things from a different perspective. It's why I like to travel. It's why most of us like to travel to foreign countries, right? Because it opens your eyes to a new way of seeing. And it's one of the reasons when I was 20 that I traveled to North and East Africa. Part of it was because growing up in Chicago, the only time I left, my father did not believe in leaving the border of the city, including the suburbs. He was like, who would want to cross over the border of Chicago? And there's nothing out there. So the only place I ever got to go was when the Cubs were playing Cincinnati or St. Louis. I could go to Cincinnati or St. Louis, or when my cousin was in Wisconsin, I got to go there for a week. But I knew that I had to have a different reality. And so for me, getting away, going to a foreign place was so important, so that that hold that, you know, my family or my home of origin had on me could be broken. And in those days, it was broken because you couldn't make phone calls. You didn't do email, and if you mailed a letter, it took months to get there and months to get back, especially because when I left, I gave everybody the wrong address. I was the only one on the trip not getting mail, and it was like, I finally found out that I was sending it to someplace else. I don't remember. Anyway, because of COVID, we have been unable to travel to foreign places. And yet, we can explore our own state, our own city, and see it in ways that we never have before. I know that I was watching a YouTube channel with a guy who travels to foreign places, and he said, I'm going to go on Amtrak and just do my travel log from Amtrak, which wasn't as exciting, being on Amtrak, but it was so beautiful to see the different parts of our own country that we can see. So again, being busy, we're all busy, but it isn't the same as being productive. Leona Britt said, if you're immersed in your tasks without having a break, you'll notice at one point that your productivity starts to decrease. You'll become slower. Mistakes will appear which negatively affect your productivity. And the other thing is that stress tends to blur our self-awareness because we become rational, high-functioning models in a sense. And the self isn't a priority, but tasks, duties, and goals are. So again, leisure allows you to stop, to connect with yourself, to connect with your needs, with your wants, and your emotions. I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't even know what I need or want unless I go away by myself. And I think that's part of being an introvert. It's like, I need that space and quiet to know what it is I'm feeling and thinking. So the truth is that life will go on without you. Darn. But it's true. Life is going to go on, whether we're here or not. Life is going to go on without us. And so even when everyone is looking for you, even when the crowd, the kids, the worker, your coworkers, the family, even when they're looking for you, we need to step away and take space. I feed the squirrels because I live in the trees, and if I don't have their food out, they're pretty much knocking on the window going, hello. So even got to step away from the squirrels. Joyce Meyer said, what if God said this to us every morning? Good morning, this is God. I will be handling all your problems today. I do not need your help. So have a good day, and I love you. So the alchemy of courage takes heart. So before the summer is over, and the days become short, and the rains return, take time to enjoy and relish these beautiful days. We live in a magnificent part of this country. And, you know, even just walking on a ferry, you don't even have to drive, just walk on the ferry and just look out at this beautiful expanse in which we live. So my question to you is, what's fun for you? What is fun? Because what's fun for you may not be fun for me, and vice versa, right? And can you do it today? Can you do it this week? And can you just schedule a little time for fun, for play, for becoming as a little child in every day of your life? And what makes you laugh? How's your sense of humor? Do you have your sense of humor about you? And what can trigger that? Again, maybe it's playing with animals. I howl with my dog every night before bed. You know, we just howl, you know, and it just makes me laugh. It's just fun. So what makes you laugh? What's fun? Because we are living in serious and precarious times. And yet we chose to be here, right? So what do you need to do to nourish your heart, to feed your heart, so that you can put your heart totally into whatever it is that is calling you in life? So let's just turn our attention within for a minute. As I am uplifted, I uplift and inspire others to share in the fun that I'm having. I commit to making fun a priority in my life and sharing my vibrant, lighthearted energy with all whom I meet. God has blessed me with a sense of humor as a way of expressing joy. Joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. And it is for this awareness and in the name and through the power of the living Spirit of truth that we do say thank you and amen.
Sometimes we fall down and can't get back up. We're hiding behind a skin that is too tough. How come we don't say I love you enough till it's too late? It's not too late. Our hearts are hungry for food that won't come, and we could make a feast from these crumbs. And we're all staring down the barrel of a gun. So if your life flashed before you, what would you wish that you have done? Yeah, you gotta start looking at the hand of the time we've been ticking it. This is all we got, then we gotta start living it. Every second counts on the clock that's ticking. Gotta live like we're dying. We only got 86 400 seconds in a day. Gotta turn it all around, turn it all away. We gotta tell them that we love them while we got the chance to say. Gotta live like we're dying. Well, if your plane fell out of the sky, who would you call with your last goodbye? Should be so careful who we leave out of our lives, so when you're longed for absolution, there'll be no one on the line. Yeah, you gotta start looking at the hand of the time we've been ticking it. This is all we got, then we gotta start thinking it. Every second counts on the clock that's ticking. Gotta live like we're dying. We only got 86 400 seconds in a day to turn it all around, throw it all away. We gotta tell them that we love them all we got a chance to say. Gotta live like we're dying, like we're dying, oh, like we're dying, like we're we're dying, oh, like we're dying, like we're dying, oh, like we're dying, like we're dying, oh, like we're dying. You gotta start looking at the hand of the time we've been giving here. This is all we got, then you gotta start taking it. Every second counts on the clock that's ticking. Gotta live like we're dying. We only got 400 seconds in a day to turn it all around or throw it all away. You gotta tell them that you love them while you got a chance to say. You gotta live like we're dying, like we're dying, oh, 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 like we're dying.
Yeah!
All right. Woo! That was great. All right, people, it's time. It's that time. We come to that time now in our service where we practice the law of giving and receiving through generosity. And we are grateful for your continued support of Seattle Unity. If you'd like, you can give by text using the number on your screen, or you can donate through our website, which is seattleunity.org. Or if you're in the room, and we're so glad you're in the room, there is a box on the counter for your gift. So I invite you to hold your gift in your mind and your heart as we affirm. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude. And we dedicate and consecrate these gifts to the will, the work, and the way of the living Spirit of truth. And may each gift return to the giver a millionfold. Amen.
Thank you, Dahlia.
Thank you, Dahlia. Oh, prayers. So I invite you to join me in consciousness. I invite you to go to your heart, to expand your awareness as we bless those who have requested prayer. And so we hold the highest and best outworking in the lives of Bert and Penny, of Lester and Marcia. We hold in our thoughts, prayers, and in the light Mary and Carl, Diana and Rhea, Sky and Sabrina. We take a deep breath. We hold the light infused for Pam and Arlene, for Louie, Jean, and Hyla. Taking another deep breath, we bless Terry and Sue, Susan and Gina, Janet, the Hazon family. We take a deep breath and hold in the light Marcy, Emma, Jeremy, Kalan, Donna's family, Don, Madeline, Peter, and Lynn, and anyone else who you're thinking of right now. I invite you to speak their names into this holy space. And we bless those who have made their transition. And this week, we bless Larry Wooden, who was a member of our community. And so let us join in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. See you at the picnic.
please stand as you are able. If you have been given permission to hold hands with the person next to you, or you can say like, hey, do you want to hold my hand? Be okay if they say no. It's okay to say no. But once you're here, then we sing Wherever I Am, God Is. Wherever you are, it's easy. We'll catch on, sing together, and I encourage you to look at each other and not at us all the time. Wherever